In the lab.
Podcasting.
In the lab with the queen.
Episode 46. We're starting on passion this month, too.
Passion.
Are you ready for your intro?
Let's see. I think I'm ready for the intro, yes.
All right, ready?
Passion, newlywed advice, and conversations about Nipsey. This is the Joyfully Married After podcast episode.
This is Joyfully Married After with Heath and Tracy.
I'm sorry.
We've been joyfully married. How many years, baby? 20.
Sorry. Okay.
Take two. We need one of those things.
Podcast rust is what this is.
Take two.
Oh, did I do it wrong? I did that. Let me undo that. Undo. There we go. Okay. Ooh, I need my glasses. Glasses. Oh, I need to make this bigger so I can see it. Why is it going that way and not this way? This is doing some weird stuff right here. I don't know what's going on. Podcast rust. This isn't working like it usually does.
Yeah, you changed something, baby. Something changed.
You see that? I can't get this.
Gotta make something bigger and something smaller.
Yeah, there we go. All right. All right. I think we're ready. Here we go, guys. This isn't that easy, is it? It is when we're more consistent. All right.
Passion, newlywed advice, and Nipsey conversation. This is the Joyfully Married After podcast, episode 46.
Very good, baby.
Passion, newlywed advice, and Nipsey conversation. This is the Joyfully Married After podcast, episode 46.
You ready?
I'm trying to say I want to do it one more time. What do you think?
You can do it again.
All right, let me do it one more time. I think I was a little close to the mic.
Okay. Well, it was when you got louder.
Passion, newlywed advice, and Nipsey conversation. This is the Joyfully Married After podcast, episode 46.
There we go. Good job. Who that? Somebody sending us a comment? We'll get to you in a second. We're pretty good at hitting our comments. If you go on our YouTube channel and you hit the comments, we're pretty good at that.
Instagram, too.
Instagram, we're pretty good at those comments, too.
Facebook, too.
Not really. Testing. Okay, you ready?
Hey, baby, how's my sweet?
I'm not talking for some reason.
Okay. You gonna start over?
I don't know what's going on. Why isn't this working? It has it right there, but it's not having a record level. Look at that. You see that? I don't want it on that one. See, that's recording. There we go.
You get a swig of water?
No, I'm good. Not having a power surge.
That's good.
So we're ready to go. Okay. Turn it this way so I can see what we're talking about.
Cool.
Please. Thank you. Can you don't have to do it like that, baby. Just like
you
that.
said turn
it. Okay. I got a froggy in my throat.
That's why I said get a swig of water. It's the pollen.
Ugh. What y'all know about pollen?
The pollen game is serious out here. I saw somebody on social. The pollen is trying to kill us all, and it was like a tree branch fell. I think it was somewhere in Atlanta. The tree branch fell. You could see it, and they recorded it in slow motion. And the pollen was like the tree was coming down, and the pollen was up in the air. And then when the tree limb hit the ground, it was like a pollen explosion. It was just like this.
Where'd you see this?
It was on.
Maybe your eyes a little red. You okay?
It was on Twitter.
Aww.
It was on the Twitter.
I think we're tired.
It was on the Twitter.
We need a vacation at the beach. It's coming. It's all coming. It's coming, y'all.
Hey, baby, what are we talking about today?
Hello.
How's my love?
I'm doing great.
We are talking about passion. We are in the month of passion.
Passion. So the first month was
self-awareness.
The second month was
compassion.
And these are all marriage intelligence characteristics.
And this month we are talking about passion.
So what is passion?
It's a lot of stuff, baby. It's strong and barely controllable emotion. The suffering and death of Jesus.
What? Like Passion of the Christ?
Ooh, that's some serious
That's
passion.
some serious, that's deep.
Yeah. You have to take a minute and let that marinate for a second.
Passion.
What you know about Passion of the Christ?
Oh, well, I was reared Catholic, so
I know this.
I'm very familiar with Passion of the Christ.
Our audience may not be aware of this.
If you have not seen the movie that Mel Gibson was acclaimed for, Passion of the Christ,
serious movie.
Check it out. It's not one to be taken lightly, and
no.
whether you're a believer or not, it still affects you.
Right, yeah.
So it's
deep
it's very important, especially with the season coming upon us, to check that out. Check out Passion of the Christ, so you can understand what we mean when we say passion, and what people should refer to when they're saying passion, not compassion, passion. Excuse me.
Being passionate is key to the marriage relationship.
Why?
You can display passion in a lot of different ways when you're together. When you're talking about the one you love, specific parts of your life. I think the most important piece, though, is that you should be passionate about the survival, about the thrift, the long-standing survival of your marriage. You want to thrive.
So what you're saying is not be passionate so much about the other person, but be passionate about your union and your goals and your growth.
Yeah, personally, I like both. But the point is, you need that passion.
It's kind of hard to be like Christ-like passionate about another person.
Yeah, that's the like the verse for Christ will love the church, and you have to love your woman in that same way. I think is sort of the theme of it.
Okay.
But the point is that you have to not only be passionate about the one you love, the one you with, but also about the union that you share.
So do you think we are as passionate as we were our first couple of years of marriage?
I think we're more passionate.
You think so?
In many ways.
Okay. I don't know. We were pretty passionate those first couple of years.
Yeah, you can say that. We definitely had a lot of passion. We've always had an attraction toward one another, not only mentally
and physically,
emotionally. I think, we've always had a lot of passion for one another and for our relationship. So,
does it come and go?
I think it's always there.
I think it's always there. It's a weird kind of always there, but it's always there. Yeah. Is that because we work at it, or it's just like that with us? Because I'm not sure it's like that with everybody.
Yeah, I think that we certainly had it, to your point, early in our relationship, and then after you sort of go through that newlywed phase. Actually, we're going to talk about that more. But actually, after you go through that newlywed phase, I think over time you have to make sure that you maintain and work at it, and you understand that if you want to maintain that level of passion in your relationship, in your life, in the things that you're doing with your mate, you have to put some work in.
Okay. I definitely think you have to put the work in.
WRK.
And I think you need to consider passion when you consider being self-aware, when you consider being compassionate about your partner. Also consider being passionate. Okay?
Yeah. I like it, baby.
All right.
Good job.
Good job. What's next?
What's top of mind for us today? Top of mind, the subject of top of mind. We've introduced this into our new format, and so top of mind this week for us is the newlywed passion that happens in the first 2 years of marriage?
I didn't think that was top of mind.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh,
No.
okay. Oh, all right.
I thought
that was actually, I wanted to talk more about that in our first segment, but I touched on it already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
So
you did.
You're right.
I thought you did. So
Yeah.
top of mind for us is Nipsey Hussle
Yeah.
and Lauren London.
Lauren London and Nipsey. Yeah.
My heart is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a hip hop fan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am not a rap fan.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up old school with
Yeah.
the first original rappers.
Mm-hmm.
But I became familiar with Nipsey Hussle through watching Gary Vee
Mm-hmm.
and watching his conversations and his interviews with Gary Vee.
Mm-hmm.
And the man was passionate
He was passionate. Yes.
about his community and
Yep.
about passing on the knowledge that he had, and he was so deliberate with doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard about his murder
Mm-hmm.
last week, I was saddened.
Yeah.
And I was saddened for a lot of reasons, because he died in a way that he was really, really trying to push his people away from.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the whole country was sad.
I just think it's.
saddened.
I'm still sad. I'm
Yeah.
still sad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we'd gone through this. I thought we'd gotten past this phase of this type of violence, out of just sheer anger or jealousy or whatever it was.
Yep.
Senseless is the word.
Yeah. Very
And
senseless.
I thought we were past this, but I guess we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that even made me more sad.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a number of some conjecture and different hypotheses around why he was killed and if it was some kind of conspiracy and some of those things. I wasn't really buying into all of those things necessarily, but I do want to talk a little bit about what struck me about Nipsey. And so, to your point, I really became aware of him via Gary Vee as well. And a couple things that stuck out for me was his open-mindedness.
Yes.
And how much he wanted to learn and to really take in information and leverage that to propel himself and his people and everything that he was about forward. And so that really struck me from understanding a little bit about his background and where he's from and how he's on this he was on this upward mobile track. It was really interesting to see there was a level of wisdom that I could see developing in him. And I actually was impressed with the young man, even though, I'm not, the giant hip hop fan that I was.
Yes, you are.
back
Every time I get in the
day.
car, you have the heat on.
So I'm not the giant hip hop fan that I once was, but I still get down with a little of the hip hop. I try to be cognizant of what's happening today. I do have 2 teenage sons.
Yes, you do.
And I try to make sure that I have my ear to the pulse of what's coming into their ear gate. But yes, I'm certainly a fan of the old school hip hop. But yeah, I'm very cognizant of today's environment as well. So, R.I.P. to Nipsey.
Yeah. And Lauren's comment just struck me also. I have no words. And as a wife, as a mother, I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
And my heart and my love go out to her and her children.
Yeah. We're with you, Lauren.
Okay, deep breaths.
All right.
Q&A.
We're going to move on.
Q&A.
The question of the week.
What advice do you have for my husband and I in the season of marriage? We've been married 4 years with a child.
Yeah.
We saw your post, and on your post it said, married 4 years and still excited. Believe it or not, it was a picture of us at that time. We had passion, and we were in our first growth phase of marriage, trying to figure out how to buy a home, buy a nice expensive car, not work a job, and just be rich.
Yep.
We had strong faith and were grateful for our status in life. Also, we had 1 child. You couldn't tell us anything. So the couple that asked us the question around that post was they're seeking advice. They're in that same place. They've been married 4 years.
Yep.
They have one child, and they're wondering, what would we tell them? What would we tell ourselves from that picture? And we're gonna put the picture up for those guys watching the video.
Yeah.
But what would we tell ourselves, babe?
Oh, a lot.
I would start with
so much.
You ready?
The first thing.
You ready?
Put your seatbelts on. Get your popcorn ready.
I wouldn't buy a house.
Would not buy a house.
I would save $100,000 first.
Or $200,000.
Yeah, these days, especially with a child.
Yep. And then buy that house cash.
There you go.
And
I would not buy a house in the traditional sense.
Yeah, so you have to understand that this young lady who sent the note, she and her husband are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And they have their first child. And so they really were...
Ooh, I'm thinking back to that.
They really were taken by our picture and our post and talking about that time of our lives. And it kind of struck them. And so when we got the feedback, it struck us as well, right? And so you sort of going back and reliving these times and thinking about the wisdom that you have today. If I knew then
what I know now.
That's a lot, man.
What's another thing?
I think another thing that I suggested to the young lady, to the couple, was that I would get my hands on all of the positive thought and mentorship information possible, because your mindset is so key. And when you have that correct mindset, that positive mindset, and when you're approaching life like you can't fail and you literally can create whatever life that you want to have.
Oh, it's going to punch you in the mouth.
Then you have to, when you have that mindset, you can do it. You can
get through the mouth punches.
You can get through it.
And the other thing that I would do if I were married again at 4 years is pay attention to my marriage more. Mm-hmm. I think once you get married and you decide, oh, we're married, okay, now we can move on with the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm. Especially if we have the kid too.
Yeah, especially after you have the kid. It's like, oh, we've got it all. We're smoking hot, young couple. We got it all. We got our dreams ahead of us, our whole life ahead of us. And you take your eye off your marriage. Mm-hmm. You focus on buying the house. Mm-hmm. You focus on your career. Mm-hmm. You focus on the child and growing the child the best way that you know how to be a parent. You focus on everything but the marriage. Yep. And I think for us, we made that mistake also. Mm-hmm. It's a big mistake. Yeah. Because you get to year 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're like, something's not quite up here. You're looking at the other person, you're like, I'm not feeling, what's going on, you know?
It's like that book, Madeline. Something's just not right.
Something's just not right. And you don't know what it is because you've been achieving and you've been growing and you've been successful and everything is working. Right. And you go, but because you weren't working on it. Mm-hmm. You weren't doing the date nights. You weren't having the talks. You weren't doing the planning sessions. You weren't growing all together. You were, but you weren't. Yeah. So that's the other piece of advice we would give you. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
It's a lot of stuff coming at you. So great question. And we hope that response helps you in some way.
Next topic.
This week's dopest couple in the world.
We got to get fancy and get some like sound effects and stuff.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, you do it. See, y'all see what I'm saying? That was my idea that time.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
So this week, our dopest couple in the world goes to Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet.
Love them.
Love them. Free spirits to the hilt. He's always smiling. He's not that big dude that's all handsome and gruff that never smiles. Right. He's always smiling. You can see the joy on his face.
It's a happy dude.
He is a happy man.
Joyful. He has joy. He has a joyfully married after situation in his life.
He really does. He is happy with his woman. Mm-hmm. He is happy with his life. And you can see, and she's so supportive. Yep.
Yep.
She's like, baby, do what you got. And he's supportive of her. Do what you got to do. And the other dynamic to the relationship is her ex-husband, Lenny Kravitz. They spend time. They spend time together.
They do, yeah. Yeah, and I think, we were talking about this the other day, and it's really a multi-layered, when you're talking about relationships and having some marriage intelligence within the couple dynamic, as well as the emotional intelligence to be able to deal with your ex and these woven relationships within your family structure. I mean, it's really admirable how all of these people deal with that when you're talking about Lisa and Jason, and then you're talking about Lenny, and then their daughter Zoe, right?
Yes.
They agree to be positive co-parents over the years, and the maturity that takes for everybody to still be good and in a good place, and to be able to actually vacation together and interact with one another and be intertwined in each other's lives. I think it's just really a phenomenal scenario. What do you think, baby?
I think it's different. Mm-hmm. When I mentioned it to Heath, he said, well, it wasn't just, oh, sure, he can come on vacation with us. It was probably some deep conversation that happened. It was probably, something probably happened that wasn't supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we need to talk about this. We don't want this to be an issue in our marriage. Right. And I believe Jason is very confident in his marriage and his love that he has with his wife. Mm-hmm. And I think he just feels like nothing can really come between that. And I think that's huge when you talk about the marriage that they have, the relationship they have for their children. Yeah. To be able to have both parents at the big times. Yeah. So shout out to Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa.
The dopest couple in the world this week.
I love the next topic.
Doing it well.
Doing it well.
I was thinking a little bit about this topic this week, baby. Oh, okay, y'all got to put your, hide your kids, hide your wife.
Okay. Warning, earplugs, something, whatever.
If you're having some underage children in your presence currently, you may want to...
Put your headphones on.
Shield their ears. Noise-canceling headsets activated.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this a little bit, and I was pontificating about great sex. And great sexual aids.
Yes.
And there was this pillow thing that I almost bought one time. And I don't know why.
No, we bought a different version of it. We did. What we did.
We did?
Yes.
Okay, but we didn't buy this particular one.
We didn't buy the particular one.
We should have bought this one.
We should have bought that one.
But this one, I think it's called the Liberator. And it's like a wedge. It's like a little wedge pillow.
It's more than a wedge. It flips around and it does all this different stuff, so you can do all these different positions, and then you can still be comfortable.
It looks really cool. And I can see how it can do exactly what it talks about. And I even ran across...
This is not a sponsorship, by the way.
Yeah, it's not. And I even ran across some Christian diagrams.
I've seen those. The flashcards. Yeah, the flashcards that show you different positions.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, right?
I don't think Christian has anything to do with it. They put Christian on it, but I'm not sure what they had to do. I looked at them. I was like, this looked like sex positions to me. It didn't look like it was any like Christ-like. Oh my gosh. I just wonder when people do that. It's just like...
So I think the point is that if you look at something like...
I know why.
The Kama Sutra.
Right. So I know why they called it Christian. Okay. Because it looked like stick people.
Right.
It wasn't pornographic looking. It looked like stick people. It had, you know what it looked like? It looked like when you see the man sign to go to the bathroom and the woman sign to go to the ladies' room. That's what it looked like. It looked like stick people in positions. So I guess that made it cleaner and not pornographic.
Moving on.
No, let's not move on.
Check out that the concept of...
I don't want to move on.
No, I'm saying from the stick people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The concept of sexual aids, I think, is a really good idea for spicing things up, keeping things a little different in the bedroom, in the bathroom, or wherever it is that you like to get down.
So we've talked about the position flashcards. We've talked about the wedge or the Liberator. We don't know what it's called. Mm-hmm. We know what it is, though. It's like a pillow wedge, and you can lay on it and do different positions so that...
you propose deeper penetration, some different angles, and all of that.
Right, to hit certain spots.
Yeah.
And it gives you directions and everything. I just think that's really interesting. Let's buy that. Because sometimes you get tired of the same position, or it's not comfortable for you anymore, or you just want a different position, or you just want a different position. Right? So it's a good way to try different positions but still be comfortable. I think it's important to be comfortable when you're having sex. You see all this stuff, you see movies and you see these young people doing stuff, and it's just like, what are they doing, and how long can I hold that position? You really got to work out and get your whatever on, or you got to be able to hold the position. You don't want to strain nothing.
Hurt yourself now.
Now you got to tell the joke how that happened to you. You were walking at work one day.
That is not that is not a joke.
I'm sorry. You got hurt or something?
Yeah, I had strained I think my computer died. Oh. I had strained myself.
Oh, and you were walking at work.
So
he don't want to tell this story, y'all. No. But we talking about doing it well. We're talking about doing it well.
So
and we're talking about getting aids to help you do it well, so this doesn't happen to you.
I had been out of town. I've been out of town for an extended period of time. So it had been like a week since I had seen you.
Uh-huh.
And when I got back, we were having some very vigorous activity.
It was fun.
Yep. Very vigorous. And I guess in my rush to vigor, I somehow strained my groin area.
And so you were walking funny.
And so I was walking with a serious limp at the office the next day.
Oh, no.
And
but you can't say what he said to you.
This dude saw me limping, and he was like, "Oh, you've been doing some of them tricks." Yeah, that stuff will get you every time.
That's embarrassing.
And
what'd you say?
I think what was so funny about it was that he was right. And I didn't want to say that you're right. I was just like, wow.
I can't believe he said that to you in the office.
Yeah. She said, I was walking down the hall. He was just walking past me, and that's what he said.
So get something to help y'all out so you don't hurt yourself.
Yes. Don't want to hurt yourself.
Don't want to hurt yourself.
You'd be caught out there. So, there you go.
Okay.
I think I was going to...
I stopped it.